describing the Evers in a particular narrative, that is not acceptable. We must fight it.
This by Belakwa. Many textbooks found to have bigoted content, stereotyping people of many more textbooks have fundamental errors about the culture of Ghana and its ethnic groups. In fact, tonight, the voter ever identity that reads, people say, I am inward looking, but that is what they think. There's more. We'll share with you shortly because you're beginning to see more pages of textbooks with similar. Already, Bedun Kansan, one of the publishing houses, is tonight withdrawing its textbooks from. Now, that did not stop the Volta Region Students Association from protesting. They banned the textbooks.
Right, Evan. So these students came in with a number of books that they had gathered. According to them, some chiefs and opinion leaders from the Volta region have contacted them and have asked. Edem Agbana is a deputy national youth organizer of the NDC. He was there with the students, and according to him,
it started in Rwanda. We have lived together as a people, as Ghanaians, for so long. Many of us did not meet Kwame Nkrumah, but what Kwame Nkrumah as a dictator? We have books in the market trying to portray that Evers are inward looking. Ban all those books that we believe are not in the interest of this country. However, yesterday, the publishers of some of the books issued apologies that we are doing in our protest. But they advise that they have been engaging
under the union, the association of Volta students, they have indicated that there's a 14-day ultimatum they issued.
Association of Ghana, VOSA, is actually saying that they are giving the education ministry, NACA, and all relevant bookshops across the country, because they say whilst the Ghana Education Service and NACA are claiming they've not approved, they will gather all these books and bring them to the Ghana Education Service headquarters and then burn the books as the logical effect on them. And if this is not done, they will burn the books.
Our chiefs and elders to take this step. Now, one of the publishers, Bedun Kansa, actually released a so-called writes an apology letter. And in an apology letter, you are trying to justify how the books found their ways into the public domain. So then they didn't know how the books found its way into the public domain.
I'm beginning to find more pages of textbooks with similar content that both teachers.
These books says, for instance, the Ewe ethnic group came to Ghana influenced by the elders. The chief must never be seen drinking and must cover his or her head in public. As Mawu is their creator. They also believe in other lower gods. And so these are some of the things that in this book, people say I'm inward looking, but that is what they think. I'm very good, especially to my people. If you can speak my language.
Out tonight from the Volta Regional House of Chiefs, the president of the House of Chiefs, Togbe Teprehodo, is the
innuendos and the allusions, all right, about Evans. It's very, very interesting in the 21st century intended for children. It's regrettable, to say the least.
Are there some specific actions?
How many were near any government-approved project? That will serve as a deterrent to others who have similar publishing books for our educational system. Because he just doesn't have the right kind of mentality.
The Ewe traditional authorities themselves have not done enough to that they do not genuinely know. What would be your response to that?
I beg to disagree. It's not a question of not educating people. I think it's a culture of a people. You go and learn. You don't just jump to conclusions, draw. I don't think that I disagree with that position that you people are taking. I completely disagree. If you don't know something, you learn about it. You don't go making rash of this country.
So in your statement, you say that you demand an unqualified apology from the authors and publishers of this material. What specific actions will you take if such a thing does?
Like we indicated, we will make sure that he works on the right side of the law. If he doesn't retract all these things, tomorrow it will be another group. Tomorrow it will be the gang. So we should all stand up and condemn this kind of thing in no uncertain terms.
Togbe Teprehodo. From the show on the Pulse on the Joy News channel that the publishers of this particular book have indicated that the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Opokro Mankwa, joins me on the telephone line right now. Prof, thank you very much for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you for having me. Yes, good evening. The issue has come to our attention, and we, from first statements from NACA, who are the appropriate authorities dealing with assessment books. The other two, one goes to the Golden Publishers, Golden New Distasteful Information in them. So we've seen that. We are also issuing a statement.
Then.
Yeah, DS position is quite clear. The rightful bodyhood, which is mandated by law to do that. We only get books NACA. As of now, we have not, even though they have assessed and approved and recommended 1,100 in our classrooms, we are still going through the process to pick from the list that they have to ensure that we get the right books in our class, what is on the market now. That, as I've said, does not fall within our domain to be doing that. But what we also, that the right things are done, we will ensure that the right things are done, the right books that are beyond want to purchase books into our classrooms. We also take the books through another set of processes to ensure that we appropriate books for use in the schools.
I mean, for parents who had they are withdrawing it, as a director general, what do you tell a parent like that? I mean, I hear you say, listen, this is not.
Yeah. As far as my memory goes, for the past 3 to 4 years, NACA has consistently, even the center of it, sometimes even writing articles, engaging people on radio, TV programs, letting the general are supposed to use in our schools and in the classrooms. They should only be books that have been officially for any school or any parent or anyone who wants to be sure. I think subsequently what we're also going to do is to put it on GS website, MOE website, and our various have been approved. We still find some challenge with it. We can always go back to NACA. To compare point is to get the curriculum. When the curriculum is done, the NACA has what to do if you want to publish a book for use in the schools. Now, the various assessment that they do and then get it back and doing is that once they pick the curriculum, they go ahead to curriculum. We've written books for NACA approved curriculum, and then they put it on the market. And for most of these operators and all others, it should be a NACA approved, a NACA assessed.
Erroneous, deceptive tag of NACA approved curriculum on it may be in
because the for private schools they are individual schools and procure them. But what we're saying is that for books that, and I'm even saying that even with those books, what NACA does is that they set up subject curriculum experts and things like that. But even when it has gone through all this process, you still have to draw their attention to that, and they will quickly act on it. And let me also say that the panel different ethnic backgrounds, etc. And once it goes through that process, and you sidestep that process and put it out there, it is not through authorities, parents, the public should be very mindful of these things. Not listen that it shouldn't be. And I'm glad that the authors, one of the authors, have agreed to be given the authority to be able to do something, get the books drawn, and if possible, if it's something that goes to the court or something like that, they should be in the
because I need as a deterrent to others.
That one is within the domain of NACA, and I am very sure that they can do that. Just by way of information, let me tell you realization that makes me professor. It's in textbook analysis. That is what I do. I said it. I have written articles which point out to some guideline, rule of regulation that will ensure that the proper things are put in the classroom.
out there in our classrooms. And the key question that, of course, arises is campsing. And so if they may be in our classrooms, how are we monitoring and getting them? Shouldn't the monitoring mechanisms be activated now on the back of this to withdraw them immediately? What time here on Top Story?
Yeah, good evening. The name of the association is National...
The Director General of the Ghana Health, Ghana Education Service, and he makes a revelation that some ethnic groups, some may actually be in our private schools. That pretty sounds alarming. But
Not a straight jacket thing to limit all books to those textbooks for schools. Yet on the market, there are several other books that he or she gets in the classroom, so as to broaden the horizon in examination. In fact, all over the years, teachers have been advising to read wide and gather information beyond what he or she is taught in the classroom. The schools or prescribed in the schools, the child may chance on them.
What should happen now? The GS director says he's in favor of tougher sanctions, blacklisting people. But into this conversation, they've issued statements. But the revelation that the GS director makes is one that they're talking about currently, and maybe even in private schools and on the market, as you just touched on, and withdraw them. For you
to be more vigilant and ensure that we don't have wrong information out there that we will be responsible. Today, let us not limit information to books. What about social?
But I mean, there's a space that is regulated by NACA and Co. I'm wondering, what do you want to see?
To intensify their periodic auditing of information in books that are...
Kabonu, the president of NAGRAT, intensifying the monitoring. Are you a parent and possibly a student as well? It's coming through on this all-important question. We've had the revelation from the GS themselves that is very possible. They are directly responsible for this particular area. When we do a few more...
Get credit on my phone. I beg, I go use your phone. I'm laughing like killer.